Hi all, welcome to another video. Thank you very much for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at this card effect. As you can see, it's got an animated border which fades in and out via the thickness. So if I just hover off, if that is such a thing, you'll see that the thickness decreases until it disappears, and then when I hover on, thickness increases until it gets to its maximum, which we set at, I think, 6 pixels on this. Obviously you can leave this animation going all the time if you don't want it to be on the hover effect, but I think it's quite nice. We can speed it up, slow it down, whatever. But anyway, let's get on with it. As you can see over here, I've got a HTML template set up, and all we've done is added a div with a class of card, and inside there a paragraph tag if I can get my teeth in, with card01, which you can obviously see here. And I've also hooked up a styles sheet, which is over here and currently empty. So let's open this index file, open with live server, and that is where we are. So let's close that. Let's go over to the style sheet and get cracking. So the usual thing, some resets: padding 0, margin 0, box sizing, border box, and I'm going to apply a font here, font family Verdana, and there we go. So okay, next, body. Let's get rid of that bright white, because if you're like me, you're probably watching this at night and it's hurting your eyes. So let's go for a dark theme. There you go. I'm not going to give it a colour for the text because there's no point, because we're going to be applying it directly to the paragraph tag. So we are going to be doing a height of 100 viewport height, so we can place the card in the middle so we can see better, and display of good old flex, and line items in the center. Say good old flex. It used to be float this, float that, and if you don't know what I'm on about, go and have a look. It was a nightmare. Justify content center, and you probably just about see that card01 is in the middle. Right, let's go down to here and concentrate on the card for a minute. Let's give that a height of 400 pixels, width 300 pixels. Just going back to that float comment I made, float still has its uses. If you want to float to the left, float to the right. Sounds a bit like a song, doesn't it? But it used to be that when you wanted to center something, you would use margins of auto, and if you wanted it on the left, float left. If you wanted it on the right, float right, so on and so on and so on. But anyway, going on a bit of a tangent there. Center. See, I've lost concentration now. Justify content center. Going to give this a background colour of the same, like so. You won't be able to see it yet. And a border radius of 5 pixels, and box shadow, so you can see it, of 3 pixels on the x-axis, 3 pixels down, 20 pixel blur. And the colour we're using is an RGBA, which is red, green, blue, alpha. So we're going to do 000, which is black, and 50% transparency. And there you go, you can see it now. And because the pseudo elements before and after are going to be used, and they're going to be relative to this card, we want to put position relative. Okay. I'll also want to do an overflow hidden but I'm going to hide that for a minute, ironically. So before and after. Let's start with the before. So card before, and as you may or may not know, when you use before and after, you have to have the content property, and well, even if it's that blank, it has to be there. I'm going to use position of absolute because we want it positioned absolute to the card's location. The width is going to be 200 pixels, and the height I'm going to make 500 pixels. And you'll notice that it's thinner than the width of the card and taller than the height of the card, which is obviously intentional. Now I want to use a gradient background. Usually I would go to CSS gradient generator. I'll say usually, that is what I did. Use a linear, grab one you like and just copy it, but don't necessarily need the top line there. But anyway, I already have one, so I'm going to copy that over. Where are we? Yep. Save that, and there you can see where we're going with this. So let's scroll down a bit. So yeah, this needs an animation, which I've also copied over here unintentionally, but we're going to use the animation property. We're going to call the animation rotate, and it's going to run over 3 seconds. It's going to be just a normal animation. There's nothing special about it. It's infinite, runs forever. Let's go down to the paragraph tag and deal with that for a minute. So you probably see that the text has disappeared underneath, so let's raise that back up by using z-index 5 like so, and I'm going to give it a font size of 3 rem and also a colour, hence the reason I didn't add it to the body earlier. RGBA 255, this is obviously white, this is. So 255, 255, 255 is white, and then if we do 50% transparency, it'll do that. So, I suppose we should create the animation so you can see what I'm on about. Let's do that. So to create an animation, we can do the @ symbol, and then keyframes, give it a name, which we already did, it's rotate, and then curly braces, and it all goes inside here. So we want it to go from curly braces to curly braces. So when in the from, what do we want to affect? I want to do the transform, rotate, but I want it at 0 degrees, which it already is. And then on the 2, we want to do the same thing, transform, if I can spell it correctly, transform, rotate, 360 degrees. I'm going to format this a bit better because it's a bit easier to read. So there you go. So when I hit save, off it goes. Good. Right. Next, I'm going to just stop that for a minute because that's going to be annoying, isn't it? So after, we're going to leave the animations at the bottom actually, so let's just put a animation, save. And up here I'm going to go for the card after pseudo element, and content has to be nothing again, and again position absolute. So what we're doing here is this is going to be the effect. This is the actual card it's all set out from, and then we're going to put another smaller card over the top, leaving a gap around the edge, so when this rotates all you'll see is that gap, and it creates the effect of the border. So this here, this after, let's do an inset of 6 pixels for a minute. This inset basically means it's inset from the card by 6 pixels all the way around. Instead of doing width, height 100%, or positioning it 6 pixels from the left, 6 pixels from the right, top and bottom, you just do inset 6 and it applies all 4 for you. So I'll show you in a minute actually. So if we give this a background colour of the same, save, and now you can see what I mean. It's put another element over the top, and there's the effect box, the before pseudo element. So we go back up here and turn it on, right, and that's what I mean. So this is where the overflow hidden comes in. If you comment that out, you get that effect. So if that's all you're after, you're pretty much done. But if you want the hover effect, then let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually say, put that at 0, and then the after element will take up the whole space of the card, so you won't see the animation, you won't see the gradient, the before pseudo element. So when we apply the hover, what it will do is it will apply the inset, so it will move the after element in by 6 pixels gradually over however long we tell it to, which we will do. Well, let's do it now. So let's do, and I'll go back and tell you about that other thing in a sec. After, so when you hover, I'm going to say inset 6 pixels. Okay, so when you hover over it, it's there, but there's no transition. So let's go to here, to the actual after element, transition on the inset property over 3 seconds, save, and as you can see, transitions in and then out. I quite like that, it's cool. Anyway, what I was on about, yeah, so if we just get rid of that for a minute, and this, and you can see the whole thing there again. So if we did position, so right, 6 pixels left, 6 pixels top, 6 pixels bottom, 6 pixels, save, you got the same thing. So inset is basically a shorthand for that. That's what I was trying to say, very badly, but anyway, let's do that, save, and go back to here, uncomment that, save, and there we go. So I think that about covers it. In 15 minutes, not too bad. Okay, yeah. Any questions, please leave in the comments below. I'm going to put the code in a GitHub repo as usual. Thank you very much for joining me. Do hit the like button and subscribe, would mean a lot. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.